3-point game. Parker on the drive, nearly lost it, still dribbling.
He stumbled 2 or 3 times, he fell over.
Parker with 2 to shoot, just gets it off in time, and he banks it in. What a shot from Parker.
They know they have to get a split and go into San Antonio.
Shot clock at 5 as Parker works left by splitter in the middle. Goes to Duncan, and James blocked him at the rim. Oh, my goodness. The best of 7 is now a best of 5.
This playoffs, man, it's only physical. We got to keep going.
It's always easy to bounce back after a loss, and now it's our turn to see how we're going to respond.
It's the finals. Every game is important. We look forward to game 3. You'll end up on SportsCenter one way or another.
And you thought Miami ran San Antonio in game 2.
Yeah, the Heat's 19-point win on Sunday evened the series at a game apiece before the finals returned to San Antonio for the first time since 1997. And the Spurs left their fans delirious with a shooting display unlike any other in NBA history. Let's check it out. Game 3, Tim Duncan and Tony Parker late getting the pregame warm-ups because they got stuck in traffic. But after that, the Spurs were right on time the rest of the night. You see the Heat never lost a finals game 3. Spurs have never trailed in an NBA Finals series, so let's get it on. There's Duncan and Parker. They got there when it mattered, and that's when the ball tipped. And then they moved the ball around. Great first-half ball movement for them. Parker to Duncan on the pick and roll for the lay-in. Duncan bouncing back from a 3-for-13 game in game 2. Take another look at that pass from Tony Parker. Then watch the Spurs with a SportsCenter scope. Spurs make 5 passes around the perimeter in 6.27 seconds, and that results in a jumper for Gary Neal, who was big in this game. LeBron James having some issues. Misses a 3, and Spurs in transition. Check out Duncan, get it to Kawhi Leonard, who had 14 points, and Greg Popovich happy with his team sharing the rock.
Great job moving the basketball. All the shots are great. Just feel confident, let them fly. Get your name in the paper.
Hey, who reads the paper anymore? Neil. Meanwhile, the Spurs gave LeBron James a whole lot of looks defensively. Duncan on defense there. James has to settle for the jumper and miss. Then Danny Green on him, another jumper. It appeared San Antonio's strategy was to give LeBron James and Dwayne Wade all the jumpers they wanted, but to not let them get into the paint. James for 3, no good. James scored just 4 points. Wade and Chris Bosh combined for 22. Final seconds of the half. James drives, blocked by Danny Green. Spurs going the other way. Gary Neal running out of time, but he knocks it down. Take another look at the defense. Great job by Green on James. And the Spurs look like the Heat getting that ball down court for open shots. James 2 for 8 in the first half. Neal 14 points off the bench, and Spurs by 6 at the half. Third quarter. Danny Green. Spurs up by 11. Green 5 for 5 on threes in game 2, and his hot streak continued. James, not so much. He had 15 points, but he shot 7 for 21. Then Mario Chalmers, who had such a great game in game 2, stripped by Leonard. Ginobili, big finish at the other end. Then the Heat in transition. James loses the ball. Corey Joseph going the other way. Bucket in the foul. Spurs up by 21. Late in the third quarter, though, Tony Parker goes to the locker room. He's got a hamstring problem. More on that coming up in just a second. Parker did return in the fourth quarter. But the big story of the fourth, Gary Neal and Danny Green. Neal with Chris Anderson on him, but not on him closely enough. And then Neal over Anderson again. He was 6 for 10 on threes. He had 24 points. And then Neal with the extra pass to Green. He's wide open. Bang, bang, bang. Later in the fourth, splitter blocked inside. Ball goes out to Green. He hit 7 of 9 threes in this game. And then Tracy McGrady to Green. Green buries another 3. Green and Neal outscored the Heat's big 3, 51-43. Green with a career playoff high 27 points. And the Spurs rolling this one 113-77. third largest margin of victory in NBA Finals history as the Spurs go up 2-1 in this series. And in these 2-3-2 series, winning Game 3 when the series is tied at a game apiece has been critical. 11 of the 12 teams that did it previously went on to win the series. Spurs up a game right now after a blowout.
It's a dream come true. Me and Danny, we both went through a lot of the stuff together. We were the guys that showed up at 2 hours before practice starts to get shots up and to prove to the coaching staff that we belong and we're going to do whatever we need to do to get minutes.
When we're knocking down shots, our focus is, it makes it easiest to play offense, but our focus for the team is defensively. We know we're making shots, but we got to do it on the defensive end too in order to win the game, because we can't just keep going back and forth, taking turns who's going to score more. Obviously, we know what kind of player LeBron is, and we know he's not at his best right now. He missed a lot of shots that he normally makes, and we're sure Game 4 is going to come out a lot different.
I felt something on my hamstring, so I don't know. I have no idea, so we'll do an MRI tomorrow, and hopefully it's nothing big, and it's just a cramping or got tight on me, or I don't know. It was just a weird feeling, and I just wanted to make sure with the doctor I was okay, and then I played like 2 minutes in the fourth quarter, and it was up big, so probably didn't want to take no risks, so we'll see tomorrow.
Parker says he's not sure if he can go on Thursday. He'll know more after that MRI on Wednesday. San Antonio 16-32 on threes. Maybe they don't even need Parker. They got Danny Green, and he's leading all scorers in the NBA Finals through 3 games. 56 points, 6 more than LeBron James, the Finals' second leading scorer. And the second leading scorer this series for San Antonio, also not one of its big 3. It's Gary Neal, who scored 41 points so far. Dwayne Wade and the Heat need a bounce-back game in Game 4.
Got our butt kicked pretty good, and we didn't play well, and we got away from some of the things that we do, and we got away from some trust, and you can't do that. You can't break down, especially versus a team like this. So we own it. We own it. This was a terrible performance by the Miami Heat, our worst one yet, and we have to correct it.
The only thing that matters is we're down 2-1, and we did not bring anywhere near our best game tonight. I didn't recognize the team that was out there.
Honestly, I gotta just play better. I can't have a performance like that tonight and expect for us to win. I got to shoot the ball better. I got to make better decisions, and I get into the film and see ways I can do that. But I'm not putting no blame on nobody. I'm owning everything what I did tonight. It's frustrating when you get smashed like that in a playoff game, in a finals game. And, you felt like you came in with a great game plan, and when pretty much nothing works, you're frustrated about it. That's just the heat of the battle. Right now I'm still sweating from the game. So, I'm absolutely, not happy and upset, very upset about the game. But, like I said, there's tomorrow. We will prepare. We will be better, and I will be better.
James didn't go to the podium speaking there at his locker. Make of that what you will. Heat's 36-point loss, again, the third largest in NBA Finals history. Jazz lost by 42 in '98 to the Bulls. They had you-know-who back then. And the Lakers lost by 39 in 2008 to the Celtics. 98 Jazz and the 08 Lakers both wound up losing those series. Let's check in with the NBA Countdown crew now for more on Game 3.
Welcome to our continuing coverage here in San Antonio of the NBA Finals, which the San Antonio Spurs now lead 2-1 thanks to a 36-point victory. Unbelievable. If somebody had said to you, well, the Spurs big 3, they're going to go 10 for 23, they're not going to look all that good.
Spurs big 3, 25. Miami big 3, 45. Green, Neal, and Kawhi, 65.
It's just no.
How does that happen?
All right. In the interest of, giving somebody some dap here, you said this could likely happen at home, that LeBron James had to exert himself, not in Miami where people were talking about it didn't matter in Miami, but it mattered here. He didn't, and the Spurs role players went crazy. What jumps out at you about this combination?
Well, I would say, first of all, Coach Popovich made great adjustments, Jalen. First of all, when Tony Parker was getting double-teamed in Game 2 in Miami, he was trying to beat the double team. But in Game 3 here, he decided to take the double team and start moving the basketball. They got great shots from that. And then 29 assists for the Spurs, that means they were doing a great job of getting the ball to the open shooters, and then the shooters were knocking them down.
Game 3, adjustment time for Pop. So Mario Chalmers has 19 points in the first game. In the previous game, he has 0 points this game.
Yeah.
They take away that pick and roll action. He was in foul trouble. LeBron James, the strength
Did
of the
Mario
Heat,
Chalmers play in that game?
for the most part.
Oh, I didn't realize. I didn't see him.
LeBron James, when he's at his strength for the Miami Heat, he's playing power forward. So they downsize their lineup. They put Kawhi Leonard at power forward. More minutes for Danny Green, more minutes for Gary Neal, and all of a sudden they're guarding Mike Miller, Ray Allen, spot-up shooters. They can stay in front of them.
That's right.
Because Dwayne Wade, when he's not going, he's not attacking those guys. They can rest on those guys. 51 points, Neal and Green, the starters for the Heat, 43.
Derek Real. I wrote a 13,000-word column about the Spurs today.
That's
Literally,
a book.
It was 13,000 words.
That's not a column.
That's
a novella.
There's this reputation the Spurs have for being boring, and they've had a lot of great games and great moments over the year. They've never had the right finals opponent to show off on. It's a marquee team. I thought that was the defining Spurs game today, right?
They've never played a number 1 seed from the East.
Right. I think they've been favored in every series except this one, but it was perfect. Duncan and Parker, they didn't do that much this game. The role players took over the game. It was just a good Popovich Spurs, everything that we've had the last 16 years.
We got a graphic to look at because when a team has lost by 36 points, has it ever come back to win a championship?
Oh, I don't want to see that.
You know what? Look, I was at these games in '85 and '84, and wait a minute.
I was
Magic was there too.
That's right.
And
King of the blowouts.
I was actually playing in the one in 2000.
Well, let me tell you something. You know, in '85, we got blew out 34 points the first game.
Memorial
and we came back and won that series. So you can come back and win series after a blowout. The trouble here for the Heat, one day in between, and the role players of the Heat, of the Spurs, are shooting well, and they're feeling good about themselves. And they're young. See, I don't know if the Heat can recover because these are young guys. And the Spurs are younger than the Heat role players. That's going to put a lot of pressure on the Heat to come back and try to win Thursday.
Game 2, they really played 10 great minutes. Rest of the game was blah. Today, the last 3 minutes of the second quarter, they played really well. Rest of the game was blah. So now, what are we looking at, Jalen? Like, Miami's just not playing well.
Well, can we talk about bad body language? I didn't like the body language of the Heat.
And you haven't liked it all series?
No. They haven't seemed like the world champions to me in this whole series. And so if they come out with that same body language, they're going to get beat again on Thursday.
Miami has to show a physical presence. That's the key. They got to exert themselves against the San Antonio Spurs, who feeling like it's a walk in the park. They just ran.
Eric Spoelstra said he wanted some more forced basketball. I think Pat Riley started.
Miami.
You see it right there on the faces. The Miami Heat, the world champions, looking dazed and confused, maybe taking a standing 8 count.
NBA Finals Game 3, it's the Spurs over the Heat with a barrage of three-pointers. With more in Miami, here's Mark Schwartz.
The best player on the planet has now become one of the most inefficient players in this series. The Spurs have packed the paint, and LeBron James is not getting to the rim. In fact, for the first time since December of 2009, he did not even get to the free throw line.
I'm just missing shots. They're going under my pick and rolls. They're daring me to shoot. Won a whole game without shooting a free throw. To show you where my game was tonight.
It's shocking. Like I said, it's first time all year, and I think that's a big reason why he couldn't get into a rhythm. He's used to attacking the basket and getting to the line. It's not just us stopping him, but he's kind of stopping himself out there, and we're getting a little lucky.
I'm putting everything on my chest and on my shoulders. I got to be better.
Do you sense at all that perhaps he has lost some confidence in himself?
Absolutely not. You know, he's the best player in the world. That's a proven fact. He's going to have to play better if we want to win this series.
Eric Spoelstra says he did not recognize his team Tuesday and that the Heat got exactly what they deserved. He promised James would figure it out and the coaches would make sure he gets to places where he's comfortable and confident. Just the idea he might be uncomfortable or unconfident is a victory for the Spurs. In San Antonio, Mark Schwartz, ESPN.
Heat were outscored by 32 points when James was on the floor in Game 3. That's the worst plus or minus in a single game in his NBA career. That's regular season or postseason.